All right, hello. Welcome to another episode of Your Brain Decoded. Mind science, whatever we call it. I've got a name for it. I gotta choose one, a permanent name here for that. But today we're going to talk about fragmented aspects of your childhood, trauma healing, and all the other good stuff related to anxiety and all that crap, and how to get rid of it and how to heal. So this one's going to be a little more in depth of an explanation due to the nature of it, but I really think it's going to be beneficial for a lot of people to understand, because it's one thing to explain it to you verbally, but to write it out on a whiteboard and show you exactly what's going on inside your brain so you can see it better, I think is really going to help you. So let's just say, for example, we have someone with anxiety, or when someone yells at them, they get really scared, like more than normal, more than someone like really should get scared. They instead like freak out and have this crazy anxiety reaction. Or say you have panic attacks. Again, a lot of those can be results from a childhood trauma. Now, let me go on a little explanation here and explain to you that trauma in childhood, it doesn't mean like war trauma or anything like that. It's actually, the brain processes it the same way. However, one trauma isn't worse than the other. You might say that, but in reality, all traumas are processed the same. And if I were to give you an example of something to relate it to, it would be like, like how far did you hit a baseball with a bat? Well, does it matter if you hit it in left field, right field? Like at the end of the day, you're still hitting a baseball. So we're gonna call it a hit. You see what I'm saying? So we're calling it trauma. So it doesn't matter how it happened, doesn't really matter the degree of it, it all processes the same way. So now that I've explained that to you, let's get into it. Again, you could have post-traumatic stress disorder or just childhood traumas. Similar stuff here. This goes for all of that. The thing we need to understand here is, let me take my little thing off here and put it over here. It's my little remote for the camera. First thing we need to understand is this is going to be you right here. Like here's you down here. And this is child, like age 0 right here. We're going to write down here age 0. You may or may not be able to see this very well just because of the fact that it's so zoomed out, but I'll zoom in for a second if you need to see it. Age 0, and then we're going to have this line that goes all the way up here to current day. Current day. This is your current day self. Now, I'm going to draw age, like just, it doesn't matter what age you are here. I'm just going to say, for example, someone's 15. We'll start drawing lines and see how old they are here. So, or I'm going to just, write years old. So I'm going to do 1, Y0, and then I'm going to do over here, I'm going to do 2, I'm going to do over here 3, I'm going to do 4, I'm going to do 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. It doesn't matter how old you are. This is going to be a diagram of it. So say this person's 9 years old. You could be 90 or 100 years old, and this would still apply here. Doesn't matter. This is just for sake of explanation. So each one of these ages right here, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Through your life here, I'm going to write age here. There we go, age right here again. There you go. So this is the lowest, this is the highest. Now, through your life here, you're going to experience things. Maybe you lost your mom in the grocery store. Maybe your parents yelled at you to shut up at the dinner table. Whatever it was, whatever that happened, as a child, you experience that totally differently than you would now. So as a child, if you were yelled at and your mom told you, no, don't do that, don't ever say that. Maybe your intent wasn't to be malicious or anything like that, but your mom scolds you and yells at you, or maybe they hit you, or what it doesn't matter if it's mental or physical. As a child, you need your parents for food and drink and for literal survival. So, say you have your child in the grocery store, the child gets yelled at. Child getting yelled at and scolded and all that, the child now relates it to, oh my gosh, if I speak out or if I share my opinion or whatever the thing is, I might die. Like, that's how the child brain processes it. And I know you might think, oh hey, that's totally ridiculous, but again, we can't rule it out until we've actually looked through it here. That's how the child's perspective is. Because at that point, they don't know how to go out and make money yet. They don't know any of those things. They're just like, oh gosh, if I do that, I won't be loved, or they won't feed me, or whatever it is. They make up some message from it. They derive a message from it that's very traumatic, or you did at one point. So say they told you to shut up over here at age 3. You gotta shut up consistently. And then at age 4, people would tell you no one cares. And then say at 7, it was just listen to us, stop being disrespectful or whatever. No disrespect. Trying to share his opinion or his viewpoint, which is equally valid as anybody else. That's what we're going to go here. All of these messages right here, these messages, they all have something in common. They have an emotional theme, which is shut up, no one cares, disrespect. The emotional theme of these messages here is that your feelings don't matter. We're going to say that one is your feelings don't matter. So these 3 right here, these are your feelings don't matter. That's the underlying message that's been told to the child here. So we're going to write that up here. That's the message that it's received. So as a 3-year-old, what happens is when you're receiving these messages, you are a whole self down here. This is your whole self. And as you start to go through your age process, say right here during the 3-year-old shut up thing, the child says, oh my gosh, my feelings don't matter. I need to eat. I want mom to pay attention to me, whatever it is. Off a fragment of themselves here. And they try to shove it down and try to deny themselves here. They do the same thing here. This is like a little crack here. And the same thing here. And they each go off and they split off. So yourself right here, now little splits of yourself have split off with these messages. And again, the splits are going to be different based on the emotional message, but each time, like, you keep shoving yourself down. And these are part of you. These are your emotions. These are part of who you are. So as a child, when you start shoving them down and you get older, you don't even realize you're doing it anymore. And that's what gets scary, because now you don't even realize that you're shoving yourself away because you get so good at doing it, it becomes a habit, and then you forget about it because you become like unconsciously competent at it, meaning you don't even have to try because you get so good at doing it. And this is what happens. And then the way you can look at these, I'm going to do it right here. I'm going to draw some water right here. This is going to be my water. I don't have a blue expo marker, but basically this, your feelings don't matter. Like these things right here are beach balls. We're going to look at them like beach balls here. And here's another beach ball, and here's another beach ball. And I'll actually make them good beach balls here. I like to draw stuff. Don't want to get banned here on YouTube for profanity, even though I use it all the time. So these are these beach balls, and you're trying to shove these down. These are your feelings here. And like beach balls, the more you shove it down, the more it wants to push up on you. It wants to push back up and come to the surface and be realized. So we're gonna realization. is right here, is the surface. This is where the light shines on it, the sun here. That's whatever, that's the sun. This is the sun right here. So these beach balls have air in them, and even if you try to pop the beach ball, the air's still going to come up. That's the nature of it. And the same way, you can't, what ends up happening is people keep shoving all these feelings down, and when we shove our feelings and we try to deny our feelings, we're denying ourselves. And we can only do this and sustain this for so long until all the stress builds up in our body and we start to have anxiety or panic. And basically, we keep trying to shove these beach balls down. And what they really need to come back up is to come to the surface and get the message that their feelings do matter. And then these reintegrate back into a whole, and you become a whole person again up here. But what happens again through our life, this stuff happens. We try to shove these beach balls down, and they have to come up. And they'll come up in anxiety, they'll come up in shaking sometimes in people, they'll get really emotional. And a lot of the times what happens is, again, this is what's called a trauma response. We're trying to shove these beach balls down all the time, and when someone currently gives us the same thing, your feelings don't matter, well, these parts of yourself that you shoved away never had a chance to fully mature. They never did. So when you get this message as an adult, it brings these incidences up from when you were a kid and your mom told you to shut up or whatever. You never got the healing and the appreciation that you needed at the time, because again, maybe your mom didn't know how to do that. That's not her fault. She did the best she could. But you didn't get the message at the time, and now when someone re-agitates this feeling, it goes and it re-accesses all these traumatic events from when you're a kid, and those are the feelings that come out. And these beach balls start trying to come to the surface, and that's when people explode, or that's when someone gets yelled at. They start to freak out because they're experiencing as the child that never got healing. So what do you have to do in order to reintegrate these things back into yourself so you're not sensitive? Again, this is just like having a cut on your arm here. And instead of healing it, you just try to cover it up with dirt and it gets infected, but you try not to look at it. And then it's just like pussing everywhere all over your arm, and it gets infected. And then someone comes up and bumps into you on the shoulder. Maybe it was on purpose or not on purpose, but you get really mad. But it's because that never got a chance to heal. And this is it. These emotional scars right here never got a chance to heal. It's like carrying rocks on your back everywhere. You need to let go of them. And you need to heal them and give them the message that they needed. And that's what the childhood trauma and a lot of your anxiety stems from. This is how it works. This is one diagram to understand it. There's many others. But in simplest form here, you have your and again, this could be any of these things right here could be one of them. The emotional message could be like, instead of your feelings don't matter, is you're not important, or you're not loved, or whatever it is that you didn't hear as a kid. There's a couple of different main ones, but you got to find the category, and then find out when you're getting, like, you can call it triggered, or whenever someone's again rubbing that scar. What do you feel? What does it take you back to? You got to start investigating within yourself so you can start healing these. Now, this takes work, and this takes different techniques that you have to use in order to heal this. This isn't just I'm over it now. No, this is like deep emotional stuff that you have to work through, that you either want to go to a therapist for, or you need to do deep subconscious work, whatever it is, again. But you've got to figure out how to do the work. Again, I've helped people with this before, doing the deep subconscious stuff, where they bring up the feelings and they're going through it and they're processing it all. And then those people, hey, they don't get triggered. They can go into a situation, someone can yell at them, and they can be like, because again, the scar healed, they're back into themselves here, and the beach balls have come up to realization and gotten the message that they need here. They just brush it off. They're like, oh, they must be having a tough time or something, or yeah, that's not a really beneficial way to talk to people. But I mean, you never know what they're doing. They're probably, again, experiencing some sort of trauma. like as a child, as an adult. So again, people yell for whatever reason, but that doesn't mean there's anything like screwed up with you. Again, but if you have trauma around this, people aren't gonna understand that. People aren't gonna be able to navigate in life. And this stuff, I mean, it affects every single area of your life. It's gonna affect your business relationships, your personal relationships, your love life, everything there is. It affects so much about you. So start asking yourself the questions, start investigating, and start finding out, really, do you have any scars that haven't healed yet? I really thank you for going through this and really keeping an open mind, because not everyone is going to keep an open mind to things like this because they're a little closed off and they're hurt, or maybe they just don't agree with it, and that's fine. That's them, and you do you. That's great. But I really, really encourage you to look at this. I'll put a screenshot of it in a PDF or something like that so you can look at it. But I appreciate you staying with me for this, and I hope this helped you.